everyone. First of all, I'd like to give the most sincere thank you to CPAC for the nomination and for giving this generous award and for the many kind words in the video. Congratulations on 30 years. First, I'd like to thank the Alpha team as well, all of the passionate volunteers and staff, Charmaine, Flora, Judy, Jenling, and Dr. Wong, of course. I'd like to really thank you for the spirit that you instill in all of the visitors, the schools, and especially the students who work at Alpha, no matter how short their tenure there. I'm currently a graduate student at the University of Toronto, and my work involves studies in cancer biology. In this field, we talk a lot about how we can help the aging population. We talk about how we can improve their quality of life and healing disease. But I realized after a while that we also need to think about some of the other goals that they may have etched into their minds, specifically those regarding justice and awareness. I, as a young person, feel a deep responsibility to leverage the privilege I have in order to support preserving their voices and also preserving any goals they may have towards enlightening others about events that happened in the past that people may be unaware about. So I really want to thank all of the teachers who have helped me along my way, and also peers, anybody of sort of the generation that my generation stands on. When I lived in Nanjing and Shanghai for a bit of time, I heard bit by bit about the atrocities that occurred there. And it kind of struck me when I was in Canada and heard about the history classes my peers were taking. We are a diverse city full of immigrants, many who came from Asia. However, their World War II education about Asia stopped at Pearl Harbor. And so when I started university, I realized that Alpha Education shared my values and my aims regarding these frustrations. I'm very grateful for all of the student volunteers at Alpha who welcomed me and who were able to then elect me as co-president of the McMaster chapter after a year. Together, we designed seminars and debates to engage the student community. For example, we had science students who were interested in the bioethical implications of human experimentation. And we had law students who wanted to discuss how the trials after the war may have impacted international justice and how we view war crimes today. We also designed photo exhibits and film screenings. This allowed us to connect with the students on an intellectual and an emotional level. And we realized that a lot of student leaders who then took up the mantle of Alpha didn't really have necessarily a direct personal connection to World War II, but they saw the lessons that we were able to gain from talking about these atrocities that had happened in Asia. And one of the most poignant ones being that we know justice does not have an expiration date. We know that the survivors of World War II in Asia and their families, for them, the struggle for justice, awareness, recompense has not ceased and probably will not for many years to come. And so we must take up that mantle. Someone must do it, otherwise we risk injustices being unaddressed each day. And in some ways, I really hope to continue that goal. So after graduation, I started volunteering at Alpha Education's Asia Pacific Peace Museum in Toronto, conducting research for all of their galleries and preparing content for permanent exhibition. We really are a museum that focuses on humanity, which means that we want to present recollections from people of all walks of life. And so we have a lot of testimonies. Unfortunately, we also are working with limited physical space, and so I started helping to design an app in order to present as many perspectives as possible. And that really is our goal, to commemorate as many perspectives as possible and to tell this untold stories from as many people as possible. It's not lost on me today that this moment of joy for myself and celebration for some others in the room come off the struggling and sacrifices from survivors of decades past. So I would really like to thank these survivors for bravely facing the unimaginable challenges that they had to endure, and also for the courage that they had to take again in order to share their hard stories with the world. Lastly, if I can borrow from Mark Twain for a second, he says that history does not repeat, but it often does rhyme. I know we live in different contexts today and different situations, but as we all know, war wages to this day. Combatants and civilians, their human rights are violated still every single day. And so I hope that Alpha's museum can act as a sort of closure for survivors of the past, but let it also remind the people today and of the future that there's a lot of work to be done and why atrocities happened in the past and how we may never let them happen ever again. So last but definitely not least, I would like to give thanks to my grandparents and my parents who are here today for all the sacrifices that they made to raise me and immigrate to Canada, and all of the wisdom that they have shared and will continue to share. Thank you so much for helping me take the first step in what I hope to be a fruitful journey of 1,000 miles. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.